Greetings, YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Troy. I'm a former fat guy sharing my story with the hopes that it might help someone else. In this video, we're going to talk about some fat loss stuff. If that's your thing, what I ask is that you smash that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it means the world to me. So let's go. Fat loss. If you're a modern human and you have access to the internet, then at this point, you've probably done some research on maybe the types of things that you should be / shouldn't be eating if fat loss is your goal. So now let's take a look at our own diets and just kind of what are some things maybe that we can identify that don't align well with that goal. Is there anything that you frequently eat that maybe you could cut out? Right? There definitely are some things that come up for me. So I think that's the case for most of us. And I think that when we try and fail on our diets, sometimes it's because we set ourselves up for failure by making it harder on ourselves than it needs to be. So the invitation is to not do that. When we focus on cutting things out, it creates a little bit of a sense of almost scarcity mindset or a feeling of deprivation, which I think makes us pendulum back the other way sometimes, and it leads to quitting. And so what if there was a better way? And I think that there is, guys, and that's setting your diet up in such a way so as to leave things in. Leave certain things in strategically, knowing that whatever it is you're doing, your body's going to adjust to it over time, and you're going to hit what's called a plateau. And this is where I think on people's weight loss journeys, things can get really hard because you're doing everything that you were supposed to do to make progress, and you were making progress, but then that progress stopped. And that's completely normal. So a really good way to set yourself up for success before the plateau ever gets there is to leave things in strategically so that if you do come across a plateau, it's easier for you to make adjustments. And in order to be able to do this, you need to kind of be tracking what you're eating or just being mindful, pay attention to it. And if you eat the same or similar thing pretty much all the time, this technique becomes very easy to then make adjustments so that you keep progressing. So just real quick, guys, what comes to mind on some things that maybe we should cut out? There's a few things that come up for me, right? Added sugars. Cut out soda. What about ultra-processed foods, fast foods? Guys, in my opinion, none of that stuff is even food. You don't need it to live. It's easy to cut those things out. We know that. Let's move away from that for a minute into some things that we should leave in strategically. Number one, carbohydrates. Guys, I've cut out carbohydrates entirely before, and you know what? I felt like crap. I didn't have strength. I didn't feel good to go about my day and my daily toils. And what I've noticed about carbs, and many other people tell me as well, is that when we reduce them, we make great progress in terms of body composition. It's very easy to overeat carbohydrates. However, oatmeal, sweet potatoes, brown rice, leave it in. It does a body good. It'll do your journey good, and we have to learn moderation with those foods. Eat them in maybe what we could call a little less than moderation. Love to hear your thoughts. Next, full fat cheese. Love this one. Love, right? What's better than full fat cheese? Leave it in. Cottage cheese, full fat dairy, guys. The yogurts, right? Everyone is different. Some people don't respond well to dairy. If that's you, this message isn't for you. However, other people can leave it in, and the invitation is to do that strategically if you can get away with it. Next, fruits. Fruit gets a bad rap, and that's because it sabotages the heck out of some people because they overeat it, right? It's easy to overeat because it's delicious, and it does have sugar. But leave it in. Leave it in strategically. If you're eating a piece or 2 pieces of fruit every single day, right? And then let's say you hit that plateau. Well, then you've built in a plateau busting strategy, you eat a little bit less fruit and you notice that you bust right through that plateau. So leave the fruit in. It's good for you and you can use it later. Finally, dark chocolate. What are your thoughts on this, guys? When people ask me to set up a meal plan for them, I try to set it up in such a way so as to leave in a treat almost every single day. And I hear a lot of good things about the dark chocolate. I love it myself. I find that I can still make progress on fat loss, weight loss, whatever it is, eating a reasonable portion of dark chocolate every day. And that's another food where, let's say I'm eating a whole bar every day and I notice that I hit a plateau in my weight loss. All I have to do is just reduce my dark chocolate a little bit and I can continue to make progress. If you haven't tried that one, guys, I highly recommend. And finally, meat. Leave it in. And the reason I say this is because I think it's becoming more common for people to experiment with cutting out meat. And I've done this myself. I watched a documentary on vegetarian athletes. It was called Game Changers, and I got all jazzed up. And so I went vegetarian for like 3 days because I noticed that my hunger level went through the roof. I noticed that my physique was affected by the fact that I was overeating carbohydrates, brown rice specifically, to make up for that hunger. And protein is a tool for me to control my hunger. A piece of chicken breast fills me up. I really don't need much more than that in a day. And I can't say the same thing about the same volume of something like a brown rice or a potato or even an oatmeal, which I love. But guys, meat, the protein, leave it in, use it strategically. And again, I'd love to hear your thoughts, your experiences. I hope that everything is going well for you. And please reach out, support the channel. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.